I've asked Coach Mike Maddox to come lead us in our invocation. Coach?
Yes. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for all the blessings that you've given us. Thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunities that you've given us all. Be with us as we lead our lives. Help us to be the example that you want us to be. Help these leaders, help all of our leaders. This is troubling times, and we need good leaders. We need leaders that are prayerful, that depend upon you. Lead us not into temptation and deliver us from evil. Thank you once again for allowing us for this beautiful day. Be with us as we go into the future. Amen.
Amen.
Now let's all pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. I do have one item I need to add to the agenda. It is a closed session, pending litigation. Motion to add.
Motion.
Second.
Tara and Carolyn. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next, I'll give you a few minutes to look over the consent agenda, and then I'd like to ask for a motion in a second. Much shorter than last month.
What is, Smith and Lovelace on item J?
I asked that same question. Can you explain that, Courtney?
It's something our water treatment plant purchased, and it was just missed on the graphic.
What did they purchase, like, they don't give us?
Paul would be able to.
Paul?
Paul.
And it probably needs to be written on there for David Jones.
And just while we're waiting on that, I have asked them to make sure that instead of paying bills twice a month, let's try to make sure all these businesses get us stuff the first of the month and pay bills once a month.
Should have been a pump.
Okay?
You
That
need
answer
to
your
send
question,
a letter
Lavelle?
out to them and let them know, you know.
Any other questions on the consent?
Motion.
Tara? Second?
Second.
Jeff? Questions, concerns, other than we've already asked? All in favor?
Okay.
Motion carried. Moving on, Ms. Kelly Moore, she is with the Junior Auxiliary. We do have their 501c3 on file. Motion to waive the rental fee for the hardware building for Junior Auxiliary.
Motion. Second.
Jeff and Jimmy? All in favor? Motion carried. Next, Coach Maddox.
Yes, sir.
It's got it on here, if you want to come on up. The motion is to sell products through Boston Mutual Insurance with short-term disability.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna let Ben discuss the stuff, and then I'm gonna.
You wanna give each one of them one of
Yes. Just tell me what to give them.
these? Just one. Okay, thank y'all very much for this time. Thank you for your approval on the last meeting, and we're just asking for a consideration for this. While they're in the process of being enrolled for the employer paid benefit, it's $300 a week on the benefit that will be provided for the employees going forward. If you turn to page 3 of 4 there, you'll see the numbers, which start at like $100 to $200 a week is what your employees, majority of them would qualify for somewhere between $100 to $200 additional a week. And that's a voluntary benefit that they would be able to choose. So as you see there, the $100 a week person in the 18 to 49 bracket would pay $408 on a bi-weekly basis. And you see the other age bands as well. If they're making enough to qualify for $500 a week, it's a 60% replacement of earnings, basically, what it amounts to. So they would qualify at $200 a week. It would be an $8.14 on a bi-weekly basis. That is the additional benefit that they would qualify for, in addition to the $300 a week that you're providing for them. So that's something that I would like to ask that we be able to do at the time that we enroll them in that $300 a week benefit, simply because it's the appropriate time to do that while it's on their mind. It gives them that option. It's a considerable amount of savings if they're already, possibly have any kind of short-term disability would be a considerable amount of savings at $408 a week, or even at $8.14 on a bi-weekly basis from what they're paying right now. I can assure you that's quite a savings. But it completes their benefit is what it amounts to.
That's where it goes with what we're selling, with what y'all bought.
We handle the long-term
And,
disability now.
That's what, the long-term and the short-term disability. Let's see.
There you go. That's it, yeah. So that is the, what you might call a supplemental short-term offer there that they're able to do on a voluntary basis with no health questions.
And y'all, like I said, we're not coming in here to take anybody's business, you know, or anything like that. It's because this isn't even offered.
So the second page that Mike is handing out here is what is not, to my knowledge, and from what I talked to everyone here, has never been offered, and that's long-term disability. So long-term disability is not an easy thing to offer in any type of business, much less a municipality. It's certainly not an easy thing to offer on a guaranteed issue basis, especially where there's no health questions on it. So your employees can build up to 90 days from what I understand of sick time. So after 90 days is when this kicks in, and it pays them for 24 months at a 60% replacement of earnings. So this is the way this product is designed, and this would be the time, the most appropriate time, I would just say, for them to focus on this. It's an easier conversation at this time while we're in the process of doing the short-term disability.
But no police or fire can do it.
Oh, yes, they can, I'm sorry. There's
what
a
I'm
different rating. There's a different rating on the police and fire, just than this one right here.
It's hard to
we can
even
give them
get a
out.
rating for
But
police and fire.
they are covered. It's just a little bit different than these rates here as far as that goes, the risk factor. But I can go get them out of the box.
No,
We have special
no,
rate
we were
sheets for
just,
them.
she and I both were
Yeah.
just curious.
That's good point. But they do have the same benefit available to them. It's just at a little bit higher cost factor as far as that goes based on risk. So the reason we use a 24-month benefit is the average person qualifies within 18 to 24 months for Social Security disability. That's not to say it always happens. There's some people that have to get, have to go beyond the 24 months. But with the short-term benefit, that would give them 27 months of disability benefit. And if you have employees that have,
Is this still okay because it's something they can add to what we have already done for them?
if you have employees that have health challenges, there won't be any health questions on this as far as pre-existing conditions would be anything that's been treated in the past 12 months. On the long-term disability, that would be pre-existing for the next 12 months, but there's no health questions on it. So anybody with diabetes, cancer, heart disease can sign up for the product, and after 12 months, they would be covered if that event or another event causes them to become disabled in the future.
Alrighty.
The insurance does go hand in hand with what they're selling.
Yes, that's what I was
Right now, your
saying.
policy is that everybody has a chance at open enrollment to present products. So you've limited everybody right now to one time a year to come in here and sell their product. So this would be an exception to that if you do it.
Treason's back on the agenda.
Yeah. But it does go hand in hand with short-term disability.
But it is not part of the cafeteria plan, right?
No, sir, it's
Okay.
after-tax deducted product. The reason we
It's not
encourage you
gonna
to
affect
deduct it,
cafeteria.
no, sir. I don't encourage you to deduct this pre-tax because that would cut into their benefit. They would have to take out for FICA and Social Security if it is pre-tax. I mean, technically, it could be an allowable pre-taxable option, but I do not recommend it just because it causes a mess when they have a claim.
Yes, absolutely.
And they're only getting a 60% replacement earnings, and so if they have a claim, they need all 60% that they're getting at that time.
All right. Any further questions?
Well, we were just kind of talking about what Daniel was talking about, because it would be an exception to our rule, because we don't want to open that can of worms to,
The only can of worms you would open is if somebody has a new product that hasn't been sold to our employees before.
okay. Can we base this off of, though, that we have provided this new service to our employees, and if they want to add additional to it, we're
would
not,
be an
we're not
ex-
opening it up for everybody to come.
Right, this
This
is
is
an ex-
something that we have give them, and if they wanna add to it, they are welcome to
Right,
do
this is an
that.
exception because this goes hand in hand with what the city is
Yes,
providing.
that's what we would like for it
You know, we'll
to be
come
written
back,
up as.
open enrollment. You know,
Yes,
There's-
yes, y'all would have to be back here at open enrollment.
Well, yeah, that's
This
what
is
I'm-
just an exception to the open
I
enrollment.
mean, I don't have a
Two,
problem with that.
Two things that I guarantee you can factor in though is that most people are not gonna wanna just offer a supplemental, like $100 or $200 a week benefit. That's not something they're gonna wanna, so it's not really competing with anybody there. And then you're not currently offering long-term disability to people at all, so it's not really competing with anybody there either on that end of it.
Right.
So it's, from that standpoint, it's not something that's being competed with currently.
Oh,
All right,
As a supplement to what we've already done.
And plus,
Yes.
it's,
It can
it's
be
the
an
city's
exception.
open to the
Yes.
public.
y'all right there's,
It's like bidding on shit.
right there's one of my insurance agents right there, and he'll tell you right now that no one wants to offer this kind of stuff and doesn't offer it here. Am I right?
all right.
I mean, he's not gonna come book
Motion.
nobody if we.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carried. Next, Michael Walden is here to discuss handicap parking place, next to his
Thank you.
business. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, sir.
So we're talking about the handicap parking place next to Toll CPA, which is the old Massagill Properties building. From my understanding, when y'all do phase 2 of the intersections, that's gonna be going away anyway, because between it and the alleyway, that parking place is gonna be non-existent.
Well, let me clarify on that. You cannot have a handicapped parking place at a stop sign. So they cannot put that one back there with the phase 2 of the downtown project. It's against regulations. So that one will not go back there because it shouldn't be there now, to be honest with you, because it's against code, or against regulations for handicap, but it is there. If I can, Michael, the phase 2 MDOT project, the handicap parking place, if you'll go with me, go past the Vaughn on your right, go towards the intersection with this building on the right at the intersection. You hang a right onto First Street. The first parking place on the right, it is slated to be handicap parking because it's going away from a stop sign. It is not meeting a stop sign. Now, that is, we're too far down the road with the MDOT project. If we was to ask to stop that one, we would put our MDOT project 4 to 5, maybe 6 months down the road. So I have talked to this with Mr. Michael. My recommendation is not to mess with that one, but the one on West College, we can do away with because it does not even meet code right now because it is at a stopping place.
So the one he's wanting to get rid of, where it doesn't meet code anyway.
Right.
Okay, it's elementary.
And we can
Yeah.
discuss the other one in the future.
Yeah, I'd make a motion.
Second. Well, that's Jimmy Clyden.
Who made the motion? You did.
Lavelle and Jimmy? And,
So
when we get,
once the MDOT does the new parking space, because putting it around the corner puts us just in the same boat that we're in right now. We're losing a parking space there as well when there's plenty, but at that point in time, I'm assuming I can come back and we can talk about spreading them out because
Yes.
they're not spread out evenly around Booneville anyway. You have to go all the way around the curve, all the way back to Cox Blythe to find another handicap parking space, so.
and there is one straight across from this one, right in front of Blythe's chiropractic clinic, facing away, so it's legal.
Here's
And,
the one that's right across from it.
Yes.
So there's two of them right now, straight across from each other. So
But-
I don't even know that theoretically you still need two, that's, one's right here and one is 40 feet away. You know,
Right.
and then you got a handicap parking in Bancorp side parking lot, you got another handicap parking in Renaissance, so, you know, our wishes would be that on a growing business, especially during tax season, that we either move that one, that we can move down the road, or possibly consider moving down the road, but I'm not for holding up MDOT, because this solves our problem right now, and we'll consider that other in the future, if y'all would be willing to talk about it and look at it in the future.
Absolutely.
Will this help you right now?
Yeah, absolutely, it'll help, because obviously with tax season, and now there's 3 main tax firms right there within half a block distance, it's a lot of parking that needs to be done.
All right, I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Michael. Next, Miss Sharon, I'm just gonna jump into this for you, if it's okay, Miss Sharon. We have the bids, annual bids. We do not have a bid for asphalt. We do not have a A1 bid, we do not have, 2A bid, we do not have, 3A bid, we do not have, 4A bid, we do not have, 5A bid, we do not have, 6A, we do not have. Wait, I'm sorry.
6A we do.
6A we do, that's where it starts off. Full service oil changes is where the first one goes.
Hill, Shields and Hicks.
So 6A is the first bid, we only have one bid. They did not put the business name on the outside, they did put the bid number, so when you open it,
Is that on the, A?
6A, full service oil change.
Right there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you got my copy, that's the reason the numbers are on there. Alright, Castrol Auto Service Center, 6A, full service oil change, service city vehicles and light trucks, $54.99, 5 quarts, oil change, $5 for each additional quart.
Slow down.
Yeah,
54 what?
$54.99
Mhm.
with 5 quarts, $5 for each additional quart.
Okay.
That is the only bid, so at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to accept the low bid.
Motion.
Second.
Jeff and Carolyn? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Sorry, Daniel.
You're all right.
I got too fast for you. Next page, we do have a bid for 7A, which is full service synthetic oil changes. Same envelopes, I'm gonna say it's gonna be the same people. I was correct, Castrol Auto Service Center. Full service synthetic with 5 quarts, $70.99 including 5 quarts, $6.50 for each additional quart. The one and only bid, so motion to accept the low best bid.
Motion.
Second.
Jimmy and Jeff? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next, everybody caught up? 8A, we have one bid. It is for field dirt. It is from Ricky Thompson. We'll haul field dirt for $70 a load, which is 10 yards. Motion to approve low best bid from Ricky Thompson.
Motion.
Second.
Was that Tara?
How much a load?
$70 for a 10-yard load.
That's cheap enough. Who
All
made
in
the
favor?
Aye. Carolyn did.
Motion carried.
I made second.
Yes, and the last one is 9A. Top field dressing, sand. It is from Century Construction. Sand, freight rate, $29.20 a ton. I've got it at 1080 freight material, so we can just do it $29.20 a ton, correct? $29.20 a ton, the only bid, motion to accept the only bid.
Motion.
Second.
Tara and Jeff, all in favor? Motion carried. Next, I'll turn it over to Sharon.
Okay, I just need to ask your approval to allow me to pull out a credit out for Corinth Auto Group, formerly Ford, retroactive to February 3rd. Motion.
Second.
Lavelle and Jeff, all in favor? Motion carried.
Okay, and next, I would like to ask your approval, for the I Love Animals grant. This is a grant that we've had in the past in the amount of $3,000.
Motion.
We need to clarify who's filling it out for.
Do what?
We need to identify who's doing it.
Yeah. you can.
It is Jessica Sheets who's working on the grant for us.
Yes. Motion,
She did. And she
Kara.
seconded it.
Lavelle,
Karen
Okay.
and.
all in favor? And next,
Next, I would like to ask your approval for the mayor and myself to sign the documents for the I Love Animals grant.
Motion. Second.
Jimmy and Jill, all in favor? Motion carried. That one should have been on. Next, we have an individual who has rented the building. They've already paid the rental and they're wanting to close the street off. We do allow this. It is after hours on a Saturday, so motion to allow them to shut the street off and use under the lights.
Motion.
Second.
Carolyn and Lavelle, all in favor? Motion carried. Miss Lori with Tourism Department.
Good evening. Tonight, I would just like to bring a resolution. There is a small typo there. Instead of 2,000, the resolution is for 3. It has been approved by the Tourism Board for spring open house.
Motion.
Second.
Lavelle and Carolyn, all in favor? Motion carried. And don't forget what you told me to remind you of.
Oh, thank you. The second is, it is not a resolution, it's a request for bids on a lighting project that would also include planters and plants. It's for a vibrancy project that we got through Carl Small Town Center. So all we're doing is asking permission to get quotes.
Motion. Second.
I got Tara and Jimmy. All in favor? Motion carried.
And the last request is that we just want it documented that we would like to request to use the hardware building for Hospitality Arts Festival. We are setting up 2 different days in the hardware, so that's why we're requesting it to decorate the 3rd through the
Motion.
5th.
Motion.
Jill,
Second.
Tara? All in favor? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Lori. Chief Agnew?
Good evening. I would like to ask for y'all approval to hire Christopher Davis, firefighter 3 at $14 per hour, effective February 23rd, 2025.
And this is your only applicant?
Yep.
Motion.
I just had one.
Second.
Jimmy and Tara? All in favor? Motion carried. Next, Chief.
Okay, I would like to y'all approve to post for a firefighter 2 position at $13.49 per hour.
Motion.
Second. Who done that? Go
I
ahead.
got Carolyn and Jill. Somebody was talking over, but that's who I got. All in favor? Motion carried.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Bobby.
I actually meant to call and have this one removed from the agenda, but I got into traffic driving Friday. Just so everybody's on the same page, I have notified Miss Wilda, and I do this with any person who has a dispute on a bill. While the dispute is going on, we don't require them to pay it until the dispute is settled. So Miss Wilda agreed that she will continue to pay for any additional usage on the meter, normal bills, other than this disputed amount, and she understands that and agrees with that. So there really is no motion to be had here, that's just more or less for information. Or do we need to have a motion on that? Okay. And-
Everybody say a special prayer for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will is a former alderman, and her husband's very ill, and I know they're very private people, but they need all the prayers they can get.
Yeah, yeah.
I was fixing to mention
She
that,
been
thank you, Daniel.
texting me.
Go ahead, Ms.
She
Courtney,
She
thank
been
you.
texting me about
I just need to ask for permission to pay Marietta in the amount of $528.53 for the difference in the 7% surcharge from January and February.
Motion.
Second.
Well, and Tara, all in favor? Motion carried.
Right, and then I need, permission to post to hire an in-house technician at the pay rate of $14 to $16 per hour based on experience.
Motion.
Second.
Tara and Carolyn. All in favor? Motion carried. Thank you, Ms. Courtney. Oscar Johnson with the gas department.
I ain't called this time.
I got it right.
I'm asking to post a position open for a pipe fitter between $14, $15 per hour.
Motion. Second.
Jeff and Jimmy. All in favor? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Next, on advice from Daniel Tucker, I'm going to recuse myself on the next item. Ms. Lavelle's going to take over as Mayor Pro Tem. If you have any questions, I guess I can answer them if y'all need anything answered.
Alright, so, we need a motion to approve the adjustment to Ronnie Cartwright's sewer bill. What I understand, he was charged with the sewer, but it never ran through the tap.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Who you
Any
get?
opposed?
I got Jimmy
I
Clyde
got
and you.
Jimmy, Clyde, and Carolyn.
Okay.
Motion carried.
May I ask what the event was so I can reply and inform you?
That you could pay it.
Okay,
You got a check tonight?
I can just contact him and let him know.
Can I ask a question? I just need to know how much.
I don't know what the recommendation was,
It
so,
was just, the recommendation was to approve an adjustment to Ronnie Cartwright's bill.
Sewer bill.
okay. So, my understanding is the sewer will be zeroed out.
There was no
No usage.
usage. It was
According to
cap.
what we were told.
Right. I just don't, I mean, like, for how long, I don't know. I don't know any information on this, this has not been brought
May I
up.
suggest we go back to the letter that the other mayor sent to us concerning this issue and go back to the date that she identified? Is that something I can do? I recommend.
I did look over it.
I mean, they're asking for a date, so.
I mean, hell, if you gonna adjust it, it ain't no day. It's just,
Well,
just
y'all need-
adjust it, ain't
I
used
think
it.
that it's you are fine as long as you don't live in the same household with him.
Yeah.
The question was asked about a date, and my suggestion would be go back to the date that the mayor of Jumpertown recommended.
Is that the 12/31/2020?
Can we go back 4 years? Is there not a cap on
3
it?
years.
3 years max.
Okay.
According to David Jones, any adjustment can only go 3 years.
Do you need this back?
Now, I've got a copy.
Okay.
Does I need to add that to the motion or anything?
They can adjust it. Y'all go ahead. Can we add that to your motion, Mr. Jimmy?
You mean Carolyn, is that okay to add that to your motion?
I answered it for him. I was like,
Alright, back onto the agenda, Miss Carolyn's asked for an update. We do have some good information. David, if you're out there, he is, thought he's still out front. Whenever we had excessive rain the other day, we had myself, David, Charles, other city employees with levels and stuff, identifying the way the water flow was during the excessive rain. At this time, I believe, David, you correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we can fix the water flooding if we just take down the asphalt in the alley instead of messing with the street. There is enough curb there to deflect the water to the sides. But if he puts up the gutters on the front of the building and takes it to the side, like the other businesses, and we take down the asphalt in the alley, so it will take it down the alley, then that will cure the problem. David, do I have that correct?
We have, already knocked that out of the way, right there at the edge of the building. We don't know what's gonna do until we get another rain like we had, so we're looking for that. But most of the, I won't say most, a lot of the water was coming off his gutters. The sidewalk's level, it doesn't run one way or the other there. We checked it all the way up and down, make sure it wasn't running towards his building. But his gutters dump out on the sidewalk about that far from the curb. And the water in front of his building was about that deep on the sidewalk. But I think we lowered it some by taking out that asphalt next to the building and let it go down the alley. If it rains, I don't think I'll be able to tell much tonight if it snows, but the next rain, next rain, and the only bad thing about it is while we were sitting there talking and looking at it and rain pouring down on us and everything else, Greg drove by and just looked at us. He could have stopped, you know. But
He could've got wet too.
he could have got wet with the rest of us, but his gutters are, the gutter off the roof just dumps onto his gutters and then it just falls off. So, you know, we can't do anything about that. That's off of his building.
So with what we done, and if he makes adjustments with the gutters, it should hopefully alleviate the problem.
Yeah, I don't know, he still may need to do some sealing on the, I couldn't tell for sure if the crack between the sidewalk and the metal there was just full of dirt or if it was actually sealed off. Or that may be something that he still has to do, sealing between the concrete and the metal on the building.
Okay,
Thank you, David.
all righty. Moving on, under the mayor's report. There was a bankruptcy with the Fred's building before we bought it. we bought it out of bankruptcy, but the taxes had already been sold to Clay Hill Farms. Normally, they would get 10% interest per year, which we've had the buildings for several years later. Now, we got a check in for a little over $9,000 from the bankruptcy court. I called Clay Hill Farms and they said they would settle for the amount that the city received the check. So at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve a settlement of back taxes on the Fred's building with Clay Hill Farms. I meant to put that copy, I think she put a copy of the check in here.
I think so.
Yes, it is, in the amount of $9,560.61.
Motion.
Second.
And they are doing us a favor accepting that amount. There's the amount, Tammy. Who made the motion?
Lavelle.
Lavelle.
Second.
Jimmy.
Second by Jimmy, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. And at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to go into closed session, see if executive session needed on pending litigation.
Motion.
Sarah, second. Everyone can please stay in here if you want to. Who made the second?
I did.
Carolyn, all in
Oh,
favor?
y'all can stay, he said.
Yes, we're gonna retire into my office.
Retire. having
Yeah,
the
just
family
tell you what I
together.
heard.
Yeah, it
You
is.
need that for your number.
No, I got
So
to
we
do it.
should
Been
better
doing
not be
it for a long
sick.
All
time.
right,
That's
back in
right.
open session, I'm sorry. No action taken out of the, closed session, executive session. Motion to adjourn,
Motion.
second.
Second.
Elaine Farrell, all in favor? Motion adjourned.